You won't believe what's on the table today, so get comfortable, drop a like, and let's get right into it. Because there are days that feel like a movie, and today, the Bay woke up with that kind of energy. We've got a no margin for error matchup, where one tiny detail can flip the entire script. We've got a quarterback problem who could turn into pure gold in the right hands. We've got a big-name wide receiver conversation that has the locker room and the fan base on edge. And we've got a quiet chess move at quarterback 2 that could land at the perfect moment. Do you trust the strategy? Week 16. Colts on the other side. The margin for error is razor thin, and this isn't about looking pretty. It's about surviving and controlling the game from snap 1 to snap 60. When San Francisco is at its best, red and gold knows exactly what that looks like. Physical, disciplined, and ruthless about efficiency. And this one comes down to 3 keys that sound simple on paper. Until December, football turns simple into a full-blown test of character. First key, run the ball, run it to control the remote. Tempo, clock, field position, fatigue, confidence. When the 49ers establish a consistent ground game, the entire offense breathes easier. You stop living in third and long. You stop forcing throws. You get favorable down and distance, and suddenly the playbook feels twice as big. And here's the real point. Running the ball isn't only about yards, it's about imposing your will. It's about telling the Colts, you're going to feel this for 4 quarters, because the payoff is play action. A real run game turns play action into poison. A linebacker steps up half a step early, a safety creeps into the box, an edge squeezes down just a little too hard, and boom, there's a chunk play that changes momentum. But you don't get that without commitment. This is the kind of game where teams panic after 2 modest carries and abandon the run. That can't be us. Not here. Not with the stakes this high. And don't miss this. Running the ball is also defense. It keeps your own defense fresh, shortens the game, and limits possessions. One long grinding drive can drain the life out of an opponent. You ever see a defense get that look in their eyes like, not again? That's what you want. The Colts looking up at the scoreboard and the clock wondering how they've barely touched the ball. Second key, stop their run and win the trenches. Indianapolis wants balance and manageable downs, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, where the whole playbook stays open and you can't tee off. If you let them run cleanly, you give them rhythm, you give them confidence, and you open the door for play-action windows that keep drives alive. The mission is brutal and simple. Gap discipline, clean fits, no freelancing, and tackles that actually finish. Because one guy chasing a hero play is exactly how a cutback lane becomes a disaster. And yes, one name matters here, Jonathan Taylor. If he gets downhill early, the game gets uncomfortable fast. He's the kind of runner who makes you tackle over and over until legs get heavy and decisions get sloppy. The message has to be immediate. Every carry is contested, every yard is earned, and nothing comes free. Early down defense matters. Win first down, and you start winning series. Then you force 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and now the Colts are behind the chains. That leads to the 3rd key. Limit mistakes and explosive plays. Games like this don't always swing on talent. They swing on details. A turnover that hands away a short field, a penalty that erases a drive, a blown coverage that turns a normal snap into a backbreaker. You can play solid football for 55 minutes, and one mistake can make you chase the last 5. On offense, that means ball security and smart decisions. Don't give Indianapolis gifts. Don't hand them easy points. On defense, it means communicate, tackle in space, keep everything in front, and make them drive the long way. Because long drives create more chances for something to go wrong. So I want you in the comments. Which key worries you most? Establishing the run, stopping their run, or playing clean without the backbreaking mistake? And be honest, because your answer tells me what you trust about this team and what you don't. Now, while everybody's locked in on the Colts, there's a quarterback conversation bubbling under the surface that could shape the next chapter. Kyle Shanahan is gaining a reputation as a quarterback rehabilitator. He was already able to revive careers. Sam Darnold and Mac Jones are the examples being pointed to, and now there's a logical next candidate being floated, Zach Wilson. Here's the setup. If the Niners trade Mac Jones this offseason, which is being treated as a real possibility after how well he played while Brock Purdy was injured you still need a competent QB too, because this season proved it. You can't pretend backups don't matter. Matt Barrows of The Athletic highlighted Wilson as a potential option, and the logic is straightforward. Put a talented, inconsistent quarterback into a structured offense that creates clear reads, and see what happens when confidence and clarity show up together. The resume is messy, no doubt. Wilson was the number 2 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. With the Jets, it never stabilized. In those 3 seasons, he completed 57%, threw for 6,293 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 25 interceptions, and went 6-11 as a starter. New York moved on. He was traded to the Broncos prior to the 2024 season, served as a backup to Bo Nix, didn't see action in the regular season, and Denver declined the option on his contract, making him a free agent. Miami signed him on a 1-year deal to back up Tua Tagovailoa, and he's only seen limited action in 2025. 3 games, 6 completions on 9 attempts for 32 yards. Miami also made a switch, benching Tagovailoa and starting rookie Quinn Ewers for the last few weeks, which makes Wilson's next move a real question. So if you're Wilson, why not San Francisco? He's already been learning a Shanahan-adjacent offense under Mike McDaniel, so the structure isn't totally foreign. The pitch is obvious. Come compete, learn, and rebuild your value in an environment built on timing, spacing, and letting playmakers do damage after the catch. Purdy is the guy, but he's had injury issues in his young career. A steady backup is a necessity, not a luxury. And if Shanahan believes Wilson can be the next rehab success story, that's the kind of move that doesn't win headlines in March, but can save a season when it matters most. Speaking of headlines, let's talk about the wide receiver chatter that has people staring at the roster like, wait, are we about to look totally different? Because the receiver unit in San Francisco is being framed as a potential dramatic change. Brandon Ayuk is set to leave after being described as distant since his injury last year. Juwan Jennings is slated to become a free agent in March. If both dominoes fall, you're staring at a massive void to fill in the passing attack, and that's not something you ignore in today's NFL. That's where George Pickens pops up in the rumor mill. There are still games left in the regular season, so it shouldn't be surprising if his stock climbs again by March. But his numbers have reportedly dropped in the past 2 games against the Lions and Vikings, and that can make a front office hesitate on a long-term commitment, especially with past off-field antics being part of the conversation. Dallas has time to figure it out, but they also can't afford to let a weapon like that land with a rival. And there's another wrinkle. Pickens reportedly shares an agent with Micah Parsons, and when that's the case, things can get unpredictable once March hits. So if Dallas leans franchise tag and Pickens pushes back, or if the Cowboys rethink the long term, the list of suitors starts forming. The idea floating out there is that San Francisco could be one of them, especially if the receiver room is about to be rebuilt. Pickens paired with Brock Purdy in a Shanahan offense is exactly the kind of oh-no scenario defenses hate, because it's not just talent, it's how that talent gets deployed. If the Niners truly face a receiver void, you can see why that name is being discussed. And that brings us to the biggest chess piece, Mac Jones and the timing of a trade. Yes, there's been plenty of buzz about moving him this offseason. Jones resurrected his value after filling in for an injured Purdy, helping the Niners go 5-3 in that stretch, and the upcoming quarterback market is being framed as one where demand can outpace supply. Even John Lynch didn't shut the notion down. Jones has played well enough to earn a shot as a starter somewhere, but the subtle strategy being discussed is about timing, not emotion. San Francisco might hold him longer to maximize value, not just as insurance for Purdy, but as leverage. If other quarterbacks become available this spring, names like Kirk Cousins or Kyler Murray are examples being mentioned. Jones's market could cool and the return could dip, but if a starter flames out or gets hurt mid-season, desperation spikes, and that's when prices jump. That's why there's a scenario where the Niners wait as late as the 2026 trade deadline to make that move. Risky? Sure, but we've seen this kind of panic market before, like in 2016 when the Vikings lost Teddy Bridgewater just before the season and paid a premium to get Sam Bradford. That's the kind of situation where a quarterback's price tag skyrockets overnight. And if you're the 49ers, you don't just want to trade Mac Jones. You want to trade Mac Jones at the exact moment the league has no choice but to overpay. So faithful, I need your take. Which storyline matters most to you right now? The Week 16 blueprint, the Zach Wilson rehab possibility, the George Pickens chatter tied to a changing receiver room, or the idea of holding Mac Jones for the perfect trade moment? Drop your answer in the comments, smash that like if you want daily Niners news, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Because the next few weeks could flip the entire conversation.